Hi students, welcome to JSR Maths Academy. Now we are going to discuss about addition of integers without using number line. Okay, so to do the addition of integers without using number line, one must aware about one more important concept, that is of absolute value of an integers. Let me explain about the absolute value of an integer. Absolute value of an integer is it's a numerical value regardless of its sign. Okay, suppose if you want to find out absolute value of -8, then that is of it's a numerical value. What is the numerical value of -8? That is of 8 itself. And in the same manner, the absolute value of 2020 is 2020. No matter whether it is a positive or negative, we need to take only absolute value of it. That means only numerical value of that number we need to take. And to represent the absolute value of an integer, we will write the integers between the two vertical bars. Suppose if you want to find out a absolute value of -16, so instead of writing absolute value of -16, simply we'll write them between the two vertical line segments. This we read it as a mod of 16. Mod of -16. Mod of -16 means the absolute value of -16 is 16. Absolute value of -16 is 16. And what is the absolute value of 20? Past to 20? That is of mod 20 is 20 only. Only numerical value we need to take. Okay. So with help of these absolute values of an integer, we can do the addition of integers very easily. So let me explain that how we are going to apply these absolute values to do the addition of integers. So okay, so for that, while doing addition of integers, we'll be having two cases. One is of adding of like integers and other is of adding of unlike integers. So first case is what? Adding of like integers. Like integers means what? Means addition of like integers. Like integers means what, Nana? The integers which are having same sign. That means if you want to add two numbers, two integers, and that two numbers, either that two are positive or that two are negative. That means adding of two positive integers or adding of two negative integers. Okay, so in such cases, what we need to do? Okay, to do the addition of like integers, what we need to do means we need to add their absolute values and assign the same sign to the result. Okay, so what is the rule that we are going to follow means to add like integers, we need to add absolute values and assign the same sign to the result. Suppose if you want to add +7 and +12. Now are these are like integers means yes, these two are like integers. Why? Because 7 is having positive sign, 12 is also having positive sign. So what we need to do to do this like integers for addition, what we need to do, just we need to take absolute values of 7 and absolute values of 12, and that two numbers we need to add. That means that absolute values we need to add. Absolute value of 7 is 7, absolute value of 2 plus 12 is 2 plus 12, and adding them you get a 19. Okay, so for this what sign that we need to take means we need to take a common sign which they have, as these two are positive. So sum of this is again 19, but we need to take positive 19. And if you want to add -7 and -12, if you want to add -7 and -12, in this case also these two are like integers. Why? Because these two numbers which we are going to add, that two numbers are having same sign, that is negative. So these are like integers. To add like integers, what we need to do? We need to take absolute values. We need to take the sum of their absolute values. What is absolute value of 7? -7 is 7. Or what is absolute value of -12? Is 12 itself. So and adding them you get a 19. But what is the answer for this -7 plus of -12, which gives you 19? Whether it's a positive or negative means, as these two numbers are having negative sign, answer also will be having a negative. Okay, let me explain another example. Then of course we'll go to the addition of unlike integers. Okay, let me explain another example better. Suppose if you want to add a minus 20 and minus 90, what we need to take? We need to take absolute value of minus 20, absolute value of minus 20 and absolute value of minus 90. We need to take absolute value of minus 20 is 20, absolute value of minus 90 is 90, and adding them you get 110. And as these two are having same sign as a negative, so answer also having negative. That means minus 20 plus of minus 90. On doing this, you are going to get a minus 110. Minus 110. Same sign that we have to add. Let me explain our fourth example. 15 and 17. As these two are like integers, so as I did not mention the sign for them, means we need to treat them as a positive. So we know that how to add positive numbers. 15 plus 17 directly you can add as a 32. You get a 32. So in case of positive integers, no confusion it will be, but in case of two negative integers, what we need to take, just to add the numerical values. That means add their absolute values and take the common sign as a negative. Okay, this is how to do the addition of like integers. Now let us see addition of unlike integers. Addition of unlike integers. Addition of unlike integers means what? Means suppose if you want to add two numbers, in that two numbers, one is a positive number and other is negative number. Either first one is a positive, second is negative, or first one is negative and second one is a positive. Likewise, that means one positive number, one negative number if you want to add, then we are going to follow this method. In this method, what we need to do means we need to determine the difference between their absolute values, and to that difference we need to assign the sign of an integer greater the absolute value. Okay, what we need to do? We need to determine the difference between the absolute values. We need to determine the difference between their absolute values, and to this difference, okay, to that difference we need to take the sign. What sign we need to take? Means the integer of the greater absolute value. Sign of an integer. Sign of an integer of the greater absolute value. That means what? For greater absolute value in integer, for what integer greater absolute value will be, then answer should be taken the same sign. Okay, suppose let me take two examples. Our example is what? 53 and minus 29, and second example for 29 let us take. And if you take a next one is what? Minus 53 and 29. Okay, if you observe these two examples, then you can understand that whether we can take a positive or negative. When we have to take a positive answer, when we will get a negative answer. Okay, so what we need to do? We need to observe that are they like integers or unlike integers. Means first number is a positive sign and second number is having negative sign. That means one is a positive, one is a negative, means these two are unlike integers. So to do the addition of these two unlike integers, what we need to take? We need to take the difference between their absolute values. We need to take the difference between their absolute values. That means absolute value of 53. What is absolute value of 53? 53 only. What is absolute value of minus 29? 29 only. Okay. Now what we need to take? We need to take a difference between these two. What is the difference between these two? Difference between these two is 24. Okay. So, and here difference between these absolute values we got as a 24. But what is the difference, what is the sum of these two means we need to take same difference as the answer, but we need to take a positive sign or negative sign. Means that is depends upon the integer which is having greater absolute value. In here we have given with the two integers, that is of plus 53 and minus 29. And in these two integers, which integer is having greater absolute value? Yes, you are correct. 53 is having a greater absolute value. For 53, what sign we have? Positive. So answer also will be comes in the positive. Okay. And if you see the second example, in the second example, what is the absolute value of minus 53? That is of 53, and absolute value of plus 29 is 29. Now, as these two are unlike integers, to add them, what we need to take? We need to take the difference between these absolute value. What is the difference between these two absolute values? Is 24. That means the sum of minus 53 and 29 is 24. Whether it is a positive or negative, means that is depends upon the integer which is having greater absolute value. Okay, for integer which is having greater absolute value, which integer is having greater absolute value, minus 53 or 29? Is minus 53 is having greater absolute value. So for that greater absolute value integer, which sign we have? Minus. So answer will be in the minus. Okay, this is how to do the addition of integers without using number line with help of the absolute values. Okay, thank you, students.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel and like, share.